and we're gonna go and say, do you know what? Nah. Let's put 11th place Conor Gallagher because he's a dog. Or let's play Jordan Henderson, who was just in Saudi. This is crazy, bro. This is only England would do this.
Yo, it's your boy H Black the Source, Harry Pinero, and welcome back to the Inside Scoop with my co-host, the one and only Culture Cams. And of course, we have a familiar face, a friend of the channel. Fred Santana's in the building.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Well, obviously, wait, let me just ask. Are we English?
My passport is that colour, yes.
Yeah. So essentially.
Oh, Britannia. Britannia. No, listen, when it comes to the Euros.
Yeah. When it comes to the
World Cup, World Cup, I've got dual nationality.
Yeah.
You know
I think it was all Brazilian at one stage.
Yeah, of course. But now, England's my pride.
With that being said, obviously we're all supporting England and we want England to win the Euros. We also think that this is their best chance of winning the Euros or winning any international competition.
Because we need that bank holiday.
We need it. We need it. It would have been incredible in Euro 2020. That would have been the highlight.
How did we fumble?
No, we fumbled it. We fumbled it.
Did we lose to Sweden?
No, Italy in the
bro.
final.
When Luke Shaw scored.
Before that.
The one before that was the World Cup. World Cup.
Was that Russia or something?
2018, we lost to Croatia.
Yeah.
Croatia.
I was at work that time,
we lost to Croatia. Yeah.
My manager said to me, "You can watch it, right?" Trippier scored his free kick and then it just went left. It's like defenders, whenever defenders score, it's like it just goes left, innit? Yeah. But for me, I think this England team, and probably for all of you lot, this England team is full of talent. Probably the most talent we've seen in an English team, maybe since 2002 World Cup, 2006 World Cup as well. Now, Alan Shearer, I don't know if you saw on the Athletic, well, you all have seen it anyway. He picked his front six. Now, I didn't know crack cocaine gets sold in those communities. I thought they maybe might do a little bit of nose candy. But no, crack cocaine, that was definitely what was going on over there because he picked a team with Ollie Watkins up front. He's put Saka on the right, Foden on the left, Harry Kane in a midfield three with Rice and Bellingham. Now, I understand you have to have Kane in that team, but I don't understand what he was thinking. Yeah. Like, what's Kane going to do there? Kane's a goal scorer. I know he likes to drop deep and he can influence play, but
10. Don't
that's
get excited.
not for him. So
it's a whole different thing. Dropping deep to, like, arriving in the area in comparison to being in the area is a whole different ball.
What does he want to do? Chase players? Yeah, that's not happening. They're leaving a hole in midfield.
He's not going to be popping it, receiving it, popping it off. Nah, he's not that player.
It's not going to happen. So with that being said, we're going to pick our front six that we feel like can win the Euros and bring it for the first time to England. So we're going to start off with left centre midfield. Now, in midfield, we have the options of Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips.
I'm mad at it.
Conor Gallagher, Cole Palmer. We have obviously Jude Bellingham, James Maddison, Declan Rice. And if there's any other options that you feel like I've missed, let me know. But those are the players that I feel like should be playing in that midfield role.
Who do you think's been missed?
Phil Foden. I'm going Phil Foden in midfield.
Okay.
I'm going Phil Foden.
And what's your reasons for that?
Because firstly, he's our best talent for me. And secondly, I think if you look at Man City this season, when he's played his best football, has been in the midfield, right? And I've always thought Phil Foden is a midfielder. Just he's playing in plugging holes for a Pep team, which is fluid and stuff. So you can play on the right, you can play on the left. But we've seen Foden get played on the left and right for England. Listen, a Gareth Southgate team is not the same as a Pep team. Him doing that, he ends up turning in some standard winger, and that's not his type of play. That's not his style of play. So for me, you have to cater to your best talents, and I think Phil Foden can turn up that tournament if he gets to play in midfield. So I would have Foden in a midfield role.
All right, I don't agree. 100%. I don't agree.
So where you go?
I don't feel that's why I didn't mention him as a centre midfield player, right? Just because it's mad. I wouldn't put him there. I would actually have him in a 10.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. He's going to be like,
But if we're going to say that's your position, because we know Southgate is not going to allow these players to play the way we want them to play or in their best roles. Personally, For me, I would have Jude Bellingham there.
Yeah, I'll have him there.
I'd have Jude Bellingham there just because I think my midfield three, centre midfield partnerships, I want Phil Foden at 10, just because, or the front of that, just because I want him to be able to, if anything, replicate what he does for City in terms of being able to link up with a Saka or swap positions with him. If he's a bit deeper, I just think he can.
Oh, so you're talking about in a pivot?
In a pivot, yeah.
No, I wouldn't have him there. No, I would have him the most advanced of the midfield. So I would have. Okay, you go.
All right. So if anything, let's do it this way then.
Yeah.
You pick your midfield three.
Yeah.
And then we can discuss what we think. So you would go with Phil Foden.
Yep. I'll go with Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, and Declan Rice. Okay. That's my midfield three. You know what I mean? I want to win the game. I want to take the game to teams. I feel like far too often England have this inferiority complex. You know what I mean? We go against Italy in a final, go 1-0 up and say, all right, have the ball for the rest of the game. We're not going to do nothing. That's what England have always been. England are always thinking about the opposition. For once, we actually have the best talents. So this time, let our opposition cater their midfield to playing against Phil Foden, to playing against Jude Bellingham. Not us, Jordan Henderson or Conor Gallagher, because we're thinking about their team. Nah, bruv, we have the ballers. Jude Bellingham is running shit at Real Madrid, bro. Foden is running shit at Man City. These are the two best teams in the world. And we're going to go and say, do you know what? Nah. Let's put 11th place Conor Gallagher because he's a dog. Or let's play Jordan Henderson, who was just in Saudi. This is crazy, bro. Only England would do this. If you have this type of talent, you have to use them. You have to prioritize them. So that's my midfield. What are you saying?
What I think would happen is I think Jordan Henderson will go start.
He said disgrace. He said disgrace.
This is what I think will happen. It's not who I would pick.
Yeah.
But Southgate is definitely Ajax. He's back at Ajax now. Jordan's going. Jordan's on the plane, and Southgate will take him, give him the armband, everything he wants. It'll give him everything he wants. Now it will be a mistake, but I want to see Jude in the 10. So we're just doing the midfield three, not the front three. Yeah. Okay. So I do want to see Jude in the 10 because he's doing crazy things at Madrid. 20 goals this season. It's got to be Rice, but I think I have Rice on the left. The right one is the tricky one. It can't be Calvin Phillips.
No chance.
See, and this is why.
Could be Mainu.
Nah. I'd like to see it. It won't happen. But this is why I think it'll be Jordan Henderson.
My God!
I just think it's going to be Jordan and South.
What Fred? Who would you want to have there? Like if you,
I wouldn't put Foden there. I think he'd be wasted there.
It's in a 3 though. Have Declan Rice as a sole 6, because my thing is I want Trent playing.
That's
as well.
4-1-2-3, basically.
Yes. I won't be mad at Trent in there.
What, in the midfield?
Yeah.
You want Trent in the midfield? See, that's the thing. That's another option that people are talking about.
I like that because you got Walker there, you got Trippier there.
I don't want Walker playing.
You want Walker at centre back?
This is what I want. I want Trent right back. Yeah, but Trent is going to invert. So Trent is going to make a midfield with Foden, with Declan Rice.
They don't train enough for that.
No, he does it for his club.
Yeah, that's
you
club.
Just said you're contradicting yourself.
Yeah, listen. He can come in midfield. Yeah, with Declan Rice and Foden and Jude can do their thing.
Okay, I heard that in hindsight. Yes, okay, but we need a player, and the way I'm just thinking about the way England set up with Southgate is not how these players play for their clubs, and that's probably why. Whenever we see England play in friendlies or when they're qualifying for the Euros, it hasn't been pretty. Like unless it's San Marino or any of those lower level international teams, that's when they score a lot of goals. But their last game was 2-0 and it was a poor game. My point is, I think Trent 100%. If it was fluid football, yes, get Trent in there because then that allows our two most creative players.
But this is what I'm saying though. We are not playing our creative players. Trent, people will probably say Kyle Walker should play. Foden, people are going to say like Jordan Henderson. He might put Jordan Henderson, Conor. This is madness,
I think England have.
I'll still play Trent right back,
think
though.
In every position, England, apart from I think in like 7 of the positions, England have leaders on the pitch. The 2 centre backs, even if it's Harry Maguire, he's a leader.
Play,
Stones. what's it going to be on the left? Chilwell,
Probably
he
Luke
is the
Shaw, if he's
Chelsea captain. Luke Shaw's a very good option as well. Walker right back, or if it's Trent, another leader. Rice a leader. But Jordan Henderson is probably the bigger leader of them all, which is why I think he'll play.
I hear what you're trying to say to me, brother.
But he's probably right.
You see this air?
Right.
And out there, guys, I'm pointing to one ear and out the other.
Bro.
The reason why I say that is because, bro, leader. I hear all of that.
It's
But
international
when are we going to, bro, you see
football.
like the young teams that we've seen dominate European football in terms of internationally was Iniesta's. They were given opportunity. There was other players that were older than them, but they said, no, we're going to trust you lot because for your clubs, what you're doing throughout a season, you're doing stuff that is mental. Like, Phil Foden is in the conversation of PFA Player of the Year. So is Jude Bellingham for probably La Liga Player of the Year because of what they're doing. Bukayo Saka could potentially win the league. Like, these are our future. Why are you stopping them?
But the thing is, I'm already telling you from now, like, I'm putting Saka on the left because I want Foden on the right.
Okay.
Really?
That's why I'm like, I don't want Foden at this right centre mid because I think he's wasted there. He needs to be further up the field and not worry about all of that business. That's why I'm saying Jordan Henderson, because he gives more license to Rice driving forward and Bellingham being more creative. That's what Henderson gives. Foden doesn't give that. That's why I'm thinking, like, and that's what Southgate will probably do. Not
You're
like
going Saka on the left.
I don't think he'll put him on the left, but I would because there's been a period where Saka was very predictable on the right, and this is international football, and it's a lot more
slower, methodical.
You know,
it is.
So Saka on the left brings a level of unpredictability to his game, and what's he going to do? Is he going to come inside, or is he going to hit the line? So I would put Saka on the left at this tournament, and then Foden.
I'm not mad at it, but I just think for England, correct me if I'm wrong. In the World Cup, was Saka playing on the left or was he on the right?
Right.
He was on the right.
Yeah.
And I think he was one of England's best players, right?
Good, yeah.
I think it all depends. One thing I've realised about with Saka on the right for Arsenal is that whenever he receives the ball, he's kind of on the inside and there's always like a fullback overlapping, right? If that's not the case, and I think Kyle Walker will be the best player for that, it's just for that dummy run. Because when he's on his left foot and he's driving in, you don't know. He has three options. He can have a shoot, he can pass inside, receive the ball back, or he can, do a reverse pass to the right winger, right? I just love Saka on the right, and I think as much as it is predictable, 1v1, he is still scary. And we saw against Sheffield United, we saw him this whole season. Once he gets to the byline, he knows how to chop it, cut a play. He's just very good in that side. I still want to see Phil Foden be the organiser of football in that team. I think, yes, Jude Bellingham is incredible, and Jude Bellingham is as influential as Phil Foden in that team. But Phil Foden has the keys to the city. Yeah. He has it. And I think if given the license to roam, and you have, because Rice, Bellingham is still defensive. He still will do the dirty work, but we love how he is when he's attacking. I would, just to say, my front midfield three would be Foden at the top, Rice and Bellingham. I think that is the best three that England have to offer.
One thing that England have to do, this is what the old generation didn't do. You're going to have to make a little bit of sacrifices to your game. You know what I mean? You have a bunch of players, title races all over the camp, whatever. Nobody in that 2006 team or whatever wanted to sacrifice their game. Gerrard didn't want to sacrifice for Lampard. Lampard didn't want to sacrifice for Gerrard. It was just a mess. Do you know what I mean? Complete mess. So I think, for example, Jude Bellingham, let's not be mistaken here. He played at the World Cup, in midfield, and he had a good World Cup. He played for Dortmund in that midfield role as well. Now he's gone to Real Madrid. Carlo Ancelotti has started going with a little bit of a diamond and has seen a different side of him. Like, listen, I'll put some ballers behind you. You just go and do your thing going forward. That's cool, but let's not act like Bellingham has now just completely lost his ability to play in midfield because now he's playing there. So even with someone like him, or Foden, if we will, basically him, he's probably going to have to sacrifice a little bit and be like, okay, it's not the Real Madrid Bellingham, but it's still the Jude. It's still the Dortmund Jude. It's still the Birmingham Jude. He can play in midfield. So I get the best of him has been in the 10 for Real Madrid, but I think a little sacrifice. I mean, if we had players that could have done that in 2006, Maybe England could have went far 2004, but everyone wanted to start playing exactly like how they were for the club. Lampard would be running up, Gerrard would be running up, and it was chaos. Some people are just going to have to sacrifice. And I think these guys, they love each other enough, and the camp seems good enough that somebody will not sacrifice that you're going to be a worse player, but just
did
a bit more tactically smart.
Foden's having a great time at club level. Did he have a good tournament?
No.
See,
he had one good game.
He can go missing at this tournament again, whereas Jude isn't going missing. Jude didn't go missing in that last tournament.
Neither did Saka.
Saka didn't go missing.
But I think
Jude got 20 goals at his first season in Real Madrid. Hosselu, we don't even. Does he play?
No, Hosselu are genuinely just there to fill the void. Like, until they get Kylian.
Jude has to be closer to goal, as close to goal as possible, because he can find the back of the net in the first minute, the 25th minute, the 98th minute.
So
he can find the back of the net.
I hear what Fred's trying to say.
I fully hear
it. If Jude goes closer to goal, we're not going to see Foden drop and be defensive, and he's not strong there. But if Foden is on the left, and Saka's on the left, but my only issue is that Henderson shout. I wouldn't want to put Henderson there.
But then you don't want Conor Gallagher there.
Yeah, my
Calvin Phillips there.
My issue.
We haven't mentioned James Maddison.
Yeah, no, I think he'll be on the bench. I like Maddison, but I think he'll be on the bench. My issue is, I think if you have Jude in the highest area, right, there's going to be occasions where I think if the game is getting a little bit tight, I think England are going to start reverting just to crossing the ball. And I hate that. I think England's going to be reverting to crossing, because as good as Jude is, he's not always the player that he's just going to pick the ball between the lines, go past 2-3. Sometimes he has been doing that at Real Madrid and find a through ball, slip a through ball. I think with Jude there, it's going to make Kane drop deep, and Kane doing that deep thing annoys me so much. I think he's going to drop so deep because Jude is such an athlete running forward.
There'll be no one in the box,
and we know what that happens. Kane drops deep, he starts doing these searching long balls, and then I just think with Foden it will allow Kane to stay up there a little bit more. Let the ballers do what they need to do. You just put the ball in the back of the net. Let Saka get the ball. Let Foden get it. Let whoever's going to be on the left-hand side get the ball. But I just think once Jude is in that 10, and it's nothing got to do with him, he's just going to be running and beyond, and Kane's going to be dropping deep, and we're going to be starting to play some little bit of predictable football. I just think, you know what I mean? That's my concern. That's my concern. But I could be wrong. I mean, last tournament, Euros, I was saying Raheem Sterling shouldn't start. This guy turned up the whole tournament. So who knows, bro?
All right, so we've all... decided our midfield threes. But just to confirm again, I've gone with Foden, Bellingham and Rice, and so has Cams. And Fred has opted for... I mean, he doesn't want
His is probably the most realistic.
Rice, Bellingham.
I'm upset about it, but...
And Jordan probably, he's gone with the most practical. We've gone with our hearts. All right, so the front three. Left winger, striker and right winger. I'll start with you, Cams.
I think Saka, of course, will probably nail down the right-hand side. He's been good for England. You know what I mean? He does his thing. He's killing it again this season. So Saka's got that on lock. Kane has got on lock. As much as I like Ollie Watkins, and I think Ollie Watkins can really give England a different dimension. And I think if he goes, I don't want him to get 2-3 minutes. I want him to get actual tangible minutes, like feasible minutes. I want him to play. So I think he works whole back forwards. He runs channels. He just opens things up for others. Do you know what I mean? And you can see with his assist numbers as well. So... But Kane will play. Obviously, he's England captain. The left-hand side is a hard decision, right? Because usually I would have went Jack Grealish, personally, because I just think he'll help England retain the ball. We can progressively go up as a team. But he's played 13 league games this season. He's been injured, and he's been injured, and he's injured again. So I kind of worry for him. So I think Gareth Southgate is going to go with Rashford. I think Rashford is having a horror season. But I think the last two friendlies, Rashford had good friendlies. He was the top goal scorer at the World Cup for England.
He's the third highest goal scorer in the Southgate era right now as well, behind Kane and Sterling.
There we go. And so he's obviously got the pace in behind. And as I said earlier, I think they're going to get obsessed with this Kane drop deep, look for Rashford run kind of vibe. So I think he'll go. I think it'll be Marcus Rashford.
Advocate, no Raheem Sterling?
I don't think he's travelling. And I mean, listen, he got benched when I thought he was on good form for Chelsea, when he just kind of was looking decent. I was surprised. I remember he didn't get the call up. He scored the week after, and everyone's like, Southgate, are you watching? But since then, He's not
Chelsea.
really done enough
Probably
to kind of.
It's going to be Bowen, innit?
Yeah, but
Bowen.
Exactly. Bowen's having a good season.
Have 2 minutes.
Cole Palmer's having a better season than Sterling, a guy on the same team. There we go. So I think if Sterling couldn't get in when he was actually playing well, what makes us think he's getting in now? He would have to. Grealish will have to be injured. Rash probably will have to catch an injury for Sterling to get in.
So what I would like to ask you guys then, do you agree with his front three?
So if you've said Saka, Kane,
and I think it'll be Rashford.
You said you want Foden.
Yeah.
So Foden on the right, Saka, and then Kane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say, in hindsight, these players are fit. Up until the end of the season, Grealish starts playing games. Rashford's in impeccable form. Who are you picking?
I think... I really like Grealish, right? Yeah. But I think it'll be Rashford because he can win you a game. He can win you more games than Grealish. Facts. So personally, for the way I see football, it will be Grealish. But I think Marcus Rashford, if he's on firing form, then Rash.
I think I agree with you with the Rashford thing, but I actually think Fred's got the most logical.
I don't see Saka on the left happening.
No, but logical in a sense of with Saka on the left. It does allow Foden to be on his favoured foot, and I think he's a bit more creative than I think Saka is. Once driving at a player, I think, like you said, as much as it's predictable with Saka, it's not always defendable. Like you can't always. It doesn't mean that just because you can see what's going to happen.
Like Robin,
Robin. Like, he's just so good on that side. But I think the Rashford on the left for me is a bit more explosive. And his pace and his finishing, he has that in his locker. We saw the goal he scored against City, where he can just explosively just shoot. I think he's a better finisher than Jack Grealish as well. But if you're talking about ball retention and you're talking about like finding players and assisting and just keeping the ball moving, then Grealish is the better player. But this tournament isn't about that. It's about getting a W. In that regard, I say I'll put Rashford on the left as well.
You put Rash on the left. With current form or
current form is who really deserves it on the left? I mean, yours is the only one. If we're talking about current form,
that's what I said.
That's getting the players in. And one thing that people might see this and think, "Oh, how are you moving Saka for Foden?" That's not even the case. Is this a praise on Saka's versatility? Because if anyone remembers, Saka on the left hand side. Forget even the left back thing. When Saka went left wing,
number 77,
it's been a problem, bro. Saka and it's mad because you don't get to see it anymore. But Saka cuts in now on the right and tries to whip it, I don't think he's consistent with his whip yet.
He hasn't got that yet.
Saka, when he was drilling the ball across goal, it was accurate, bro. He's got a better shot across goal than he has a whip, for me. So I think Saka can do the left-hand side, but I just don't see it happening.
He hasn't got that Iron Robin yet, man.
No, it's going to come.
You know why?
He's
a kid. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about a PFA Young Player of the Year. Someone who was nominated for PFA Player of the Year last season. And I think with this season, the maturity in his game is there for everyone to see. So much so that, like, it's not really... I always say football is not always about the numbers and the stats, but the numbers and stats last season were incredible. But integral part of that team. And like Cam said, he's so versatile in terms of... I think even... I remember, because I was at the France England game in the World Cup, he was finding himself on the left-hand side as well a lot.
Yeah.
And for me, I just think he's in his bag right now, innit? So for England, he's been a mainstay anyway.
Don't sleep on Saka as a centre mid one day, boy.
Well, we saw Ryan. Remember when Ryan Giggs dropped into midfield?
I'm telling you,
and that was the best Ryan Giggs for me.
Don't sleep on LCM Saka, bro.
Strong.
I'm telling you, listen,
his strength is insane.
No, that
could be that. England could have the solution right there, bro, for this midfield problem.
All right. Lastly, just before we wrap up, Gareth Southgate. I've heard that this might be his last tournament. I think we fumbled the Euros. The World Cup didn't really go to where we wanted it to go. If he doesn't win this, how are we going to look back at his tenure? And if he does win it, how are we going to look back at his tenure?
If we look back, he's probably the best manager in the lot since Sven.
Probably better than him, too.
Yeah. Better than Sven.
Yeah.
He's taken the team a long way. He's made it work. It hasn't always been the most attractive football, or when you see some of the decisions, you get all the pundits complaining, but he gets to he gets to quarterfinals, semi-finals. I think this time England have a great chance of going to the final. I don't think Croatia will be as strong. I don't think Germany will be as strong.
Home nation, though.
Yeah.
We've seen what Ivory Coast did to Nigeria.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm
sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
I don't think Germany will be as strong. They got great players, but I don't think they'll be as strong. France will probably go far.
Tony Cruz is back, you know.
Yeah.
In Germany?
Yeah. He came out of retirement. He came out of retirement.
He ain't got the legs, man. He ain't got the legs. He ain't got the legs. End up like Aspilicueta against Maitland-Niles with popping hamstrings. Something like that. He ain't got the legs, man. Who's a big country that's there?
Spain.
It's Portugal. Portugal got a good squad. They got a good squad now.
Ronaldo's still playing.
Yeah.
I ain't scared. I think England have a great chance. Like the youth they got as well as the experience, and again that's another like nod to Jordan Henderson. I think they could do well, but yeah, it's in terms of Southgate, it's probably the best since. Who's even before that better than Glenn Hoddle?
There hasn't been a manager for England that has got us to a final.
Yeah.
You know, and then for me personally, semi-finals the year before. Like there's a lot of progression over in England's camp anyway. I think the pressure is going to mount because of what happened in the two international competitions. But for me, he has the tools to be able to cement himself as the first manager to bring any sort of silverware since England won it in 1966. So.
I think like with I see it very much how I saw Ollie's time at United.
Bring Ollie back.
That's how. No. Do not bring him back.
Bring Ollie back. No.
Do not bring him back. But I see it very similar. He's made like Ollie made us like at certain points like actually enjoy Man United. You know what I mean? Those periods where you were like, yeah, look, this is good. The players were happy and stuff like that. And I think that's the same with Gareth Southgate. Now, Ollie didn't win anything in the end, and that could happen with Southgate as well. But he has given you that feeling of belief, like, something's happening here. Maybe we're on the way back. And I think that's what Southgate's done. The football hasn't been the greatest, similar to Ollie, but it gets the best out of certain players at certain moments. But it's all about getting over the line, bro. Same with Ollie. We got to Europa League final. We never got it over the line. And with England, my biggest criticism of Southgate is what I said earlier. He's too scared sometimes. Losing that, look, when we lost to Croatia, cool. Croatia, that was kind of their golden gen. Still think we shouldn't have been lost the way with Jordan Henderson with the worst semi-final appearance that you will ever see in the history of football, by the way. But we'll ignore that. Euros, that is the moment where it was all in your hands. Lads, it was in Wembley. We were 1-0 up after 2 minutes. And we just gave Italy the game for the rest of until penalties. Yes, it happened in penalties, but why are we even in penalties?
I think the thing is as well, like with Southgate, I don't think he actually does like make people feel happy because there's always questions about his selection. So I think there's even doubt within the camp of right, he dropped Sterling. Like I think people are a bit antsy on their toes, man. There's nervousness. There always seems to be nervousness with England. Like in the players, when you watch them play, they seem a bit nervous at times. They don't take many risks. So that's a hindrance on his legacy, I think. Like it's not like you've got such great players, but they're not. And Grealish, maybe it's Pep that changed him.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
Villa.
Like,
but we'll see.
I think as well, World Cup.
Yeah.
Kane should have scored that penalty though, so I won't go too.
If I speak about that,
but
take my mic off me.
There we go.
But anyway, at the end of the day, these are all our thoughts. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you agree with Fred, Cams, or myself, or if you have a different front six, let us know in the comments. We really appreciate it on socials anyway. But I've been Harry Pinero. This has been Fred Santana, of course, my co-host, Culture Cams.
Come on.
Like, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell so you're notified when Inside Scoop uploads. We're done now.